This is NDTV. And you're watching Ndtv-Hindu.
Hello and welcome to the late night news on Ndtv-Hindu. I'm Ramanathan. The top stories of the day. A police sub-inspector who was stabbed by a rowdy in Chennai is now recovering.
Injury was rather mild. He was admitted for safety precaution.
Madras University moots a ban on students of science from entering art stream in colleges.
We have condemned this, sir.
Ndtv-Hindu exposes the bad state of affairs of the public distribution system in the city. Ravichandran Ashwin and Murli Vijay to play in the third ODI against South Africa in Ahmedabad. And Karunanidhi joins President Pratibha Patil and Prime Minister Manmohan Singh in congratulating Sachin Tendulkar.
It's been terrific, and the people of India have stood with me and behind me in difficult times.
In a shocking incident, a police sub-inspector was stabbed this afternoon at the City Government General Hospital by a known history sheeter, Hari. The SI is now said to be recovering from the serious stab injuries. The scuffle took place at the state-run General Hospital in Chennai, where the under-trial rowdy was being treated. He suddenly grabbed a pair of scissors and threatened hospital staff. When Sub-Inspector Gunasekharan came in to subdue him, the rowdy stabbed him in the chest.
Sub-Inspector Gunasekharan ரெண்டு பேரை கூட்டி வராரு. அவர் அப்படி நிக்கிறத பார்த்துட்டு குணசேகரன் என்ன பண்றாரு, சரி இவர்ட்ட பசிஃபை பண்ணிரலாம், பொறுமையா பேசி வாங்கலாம்னு பக்கமா போய் ஏப்பா உனக்கு என்ன குறை என்னன்னு கேட்கும்போது இங்க எங்கடா என்ன பிடிச்சி கொள்ள ஒரு இடம்னு சொல்லி டப்புன்னு குத்திடுறாரு. எதிர்பார்க்காது இவர் வந்து நல்லபடியா பேசி வாங்கலாம்னு போறாரு, குத்திடுறாரு. குத்தினோடனே இது இந்த மாதிரி போனோடனே இவர் சத்தம் போடுறத பார்த்துட்டு இப்போ டாக்டர்ஸ்லாம் இவர் விழுந்துடுறாரு. அவர் இன்னும் தள்ளி போய் நின்றுட்டு அப்படியே ஆக்ரோஷமாக இருக்காரு. டாக்டர்ஸ் இவர் எங்க சப்-இன்ஸ்பெக்டர் இழுத்து உடனே ட்ரீட்மெண்ட்டை கவனிச்சு பண்ணாங்க. என்னன்னு பார்த்தா இந்த இடத்துல வந்தனால கொஞ்சம் போய் பண்ணுறாங்க. இந்த மீன் டைம் எங்களுக்கு செய்து கிடச்சி நான் நேஷனல் கமிஷனில் வர்றோம். வந்து அவர் அப்படியே நின்றுட்டுருக்காரு. வந்து என்ன பண்ணணும் தெரியுமா, வாங்க வாங்கன்னு சொல்லி கத்திட்டு இருக்கிறாரு. அப்புறம் நாங்கள் கொஞ்சம் லாபமாக அப்படியே போய் எங்கள் பாய்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருந்தனால அப்படியே லாபமாக பிடிச்சி அப்படியே உட்கார வச்சு இருக்கிறோம். இந்த மீன் டைம் சப்-இன்ஸ்பெக்டருடைய கண்டிஷன் கிரிட்டிக்கல் மாதிரி அப்போ இருந்தது. அதனால் கொஞ்சம் பதிரி போய் எல்லா டாக்டர்ஸும் வரவழைச்சு, ஏன்னா டியூட்டியில் இருக்கும்பொழுது ஒரு நல்லது செய்யும்போது இப்படி அட்டாக் பண்ணதில் எங்களுக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் ஒரு பெரிய ஆச்சரியம், கொஞ்சம் அதிர்ச்சி வேறு.
In the meantime, he became restless. He was started beating the neighboring patients and all. So the police were summoned. So the local sub-inspector Gunasekharan came and he was trying to prevent from others, he is beating others. So he got wild, patient got wild, being a convict. When the dressing trolley was brought near him to dress up his wounds, he suddenly took an instrument and tried to stab the inspector, in which he got injured. But the injury was rather mild. He was admitted for safety precaution and he is proceeding well.
Moving on, if you're a science student at class 12 and planning to learn arts at the Madras University later, then there is bad news. The university plans to keep these fields to those with similar backgrounds.
The Madras University plans to draw a line between arts and science, a line that the university feels will help the development of the subject. Wide-ranging discussions are on to keep arts and commerce students at the school level out of science at the graduate level. Recently, the Vice-Chancellor of Madras University hinted at this move, saying science is not for people who are not bright enough. Students are disappointed because they believe this move would narrow down their choices.
We have condemned this, sir. Actually, there is a wide choice for us to select whichever course we like, but this is not a procedure to take in our willing path.
வன்மையாக கண்டிக்கிறேன் இதை. ஏன்னா எங்களுக்குன்னு ஒரு ஃப்ரீடம் இருக்குது இதில் எப்போவுமே. ஏன்னா நாங்கள் எப்போன்னா இதில் ஒன்றா போகிற மாதிரி எங்களுக்கு ஒரு இது இருக்குது. அதை விட்டுட்டு நாங்கள் இதை தான் போகணும் அப்படின்னு எங்களுக்கு ஒரு இது இல்லை. அதனால் இது எனக்கு பிடிக்கல.
Some noted educationists are also against the move. They say it's a step back.
It will really send out a shock waves to all the students' fraternity. for the simple reason that seniors, a number of them from our school and elsewhere in the state, after their +1, +2 in the science stream have gone into BA, arts like economics, history and all, and subsequently they got through the UPSC to become an IAS or IPS officers, statistics confirms. And I also don't think any logic reason or scientific as to why this ban is imposed on science group children. Definitely it will be a setback for the quality that is there in Tamil Nadu.
Clearly, this move by the Madras University has caused unhappiness among students. To fend off immediate protest, the Vice-Chancellor says the plan is just a proposal. With Salim, Sai Manish for NDTV-Hindu.
D. Suresh Kumar, the education correspondent of the Times of India and a leading education journalist, also spoke to us earlier.
Comes at a time when at the national level, the HRD ministry is actually talking of allowing art students who take arts courses in +1, +2 to enter the science stream at the college level after writing a science examination. So it comes at a time when cross mobility is being encouraged at the national level. Although the Vice Chancellor has a point in saying that very few students take up science courses in college, I think they must examine why this happens. Probably one of the main reasons is the students don't get jobs after doing a BSc physics or chemistry course. So I think ideally you must allow students to take a different course after completing schooling. That choice must be given to them, because in class 10th, after completing class 10th, when they join a course, it is hardly by choice. Mostly it's due to peer pressure or parental pressure, they take up science. And during the 2 years that they study +1, +2, there's every possibility of a student, coming to the conclusion that science is not their cup of tea. And therefore, they must be allowed to move on to take up commerce at the college level or economics.
Earlier, we were joined by N. Arun Kumar, Principal Correspondent of the Deccan Chronicle and President of the Education Correspondents Association of India, for more on that.
But you need to see the root of the problem and just not to axe down the tree itself. For example, the Vice Chancellor was gracious enough to bring Venkatraman Ramakrishnan, a Nobel laureate, to the university, bring him before an audience of 3,500 students. Where Venkatraman Ramakrishnan spoke, see, I was a guy who was basically sitting in your side, listening to lectures like this. Today, I'm a Nobel laureate. I've got Nobel. So what you need to do is you need to show some role models like this. I need to woo students, tell them, science is nothing wrong, boss. Science is actually a good field. Because I also come from a science background, so we know that science is good, but you need to do different methods. And there was another case, one of the principals was pointing out today, that some experts from the BARC, the Baba Atomic Research Center, had visited some schools in the city and had promised them to give laboratory equipments to make students aware of the facilities available in the laboratories and use them and become a scientist. In fact, actually there was some stepmotherly, can't say stepmotherly treatment, but maybe students were not aware of the options that were available. There are some good courses. If you want to become an IAS officer or IPS officer, you need to pursue an arts and science course. That's easy to get inside this kind of a civil services. But already everything depends on the student at last. If the student wants to become an engineer, he has an option. If he wants to become a lawyer, he has an option. Right. And if he wants to become any other thing, that he can do. But ultimately, the university should have left the choice to the students, not the university in itself. Basically happens because the university or the university authorities or the professors think that they are doing something good for the students, but ultimately it lands up elsewhere. And for example, you might know that what happened to the ban for dress code. They said, don't wear jeans. Students started wearing jeans and coming to the university say, now I wear jeans. What will you do? So that should not happen in a wrong spirit. Whatever you say should go in a right spirit, and you should, first of all, you should call the students and speak to them. It's not that you make an announcement, just go away. But anyway, it's just a proposal, and the Vice Chancellor has assured that he would be constituting a committee with experts and he would be speaking to the students, the teachers and the parents. And I think it will take a bit, about maybe 6 months also, because it has to go to the university's academic council, then the syndicate, then the senate. So it's a big process. I don't think it will happen immediately. And I'm very sure that students might come up with a different kind of an idea or with a negative idea also.
Right, moving on, R. Karunanidhi and Jayalalitha on the same track at last. Following the presentation of this year's rail budget, both the Chief Minister and the opposition leader have commended Railways Minister Mamata Banerjee for this year's budget, while the CM has lauded her for emphasizing on social responsibility in implementing new railway projects. Jayalalitha has complimented Banerjee for striking a delicate balance without hiking passenger and freight fares in these hard times. CM also welcomed the proposal to modernize and expand the capacity of the integral coach factory The proposal to set up a sports academy in Chennai also came as good news for Karunanidhi. Jayalalitha added that Mamta's assurance that there would be no privatization of the railways was reassuring, while her call for private participation in funding railway projects was realistic. The railway budget has provisions for 14 new trains for Tamil Nadu, including for Madurai-Kottayam, Madurai-Tuticorin, Dindigul-Kumali and Rameshwaram-Dhanushkodi. Karunanidhi said these sections came under the category of socially desirable projects in backward areas. The current railway budget also has committed the completion of the various Velachery-St. Thomas Mount MRTS connection by March 2012. Introduction of additional suburban services along Chennai Central, Sulurpeta Beach, Chennai Beach, Velachery and Arakonam would be useful to a large number of commuters. The AIADMK is still grappling with exodus from its ranks. Now, former Minister Satyamurthy of the AIADMK party has defected to the governing DMK party. This evening, he called on Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi at his party's headquarters. Satyamurthy was seen by many as a loyalist of the AIADMK founder M.G. Ramachandran. Several of his supporters also defected with him. Satyamurthy said senior leaders are being sidelined by the leadership of the AIADMK led by Jayalalitha. Earlier today, he called on the DMK party's M.K. Aragiri, who is a union minister. Satyamurthy is the third senior AIADMK leader to defect in recent months, following the likes of Anita Radhakrishnan, Kovilpatti Radhakrishnan and S.V. Shekhar.
I have no hope, I have no room to work in AIADMK. I am not permitted because senior people in the AIADMK, those who are working from the beginning of MGR period, are not given any possibility, there is no viability to continue in AIADMK. I am not expecting, I am believing the leader of DMK party, Honorable CM, so I joined under the presidency of Dr. Kalaignar.
Well, still ahead, parcel services in the city come under the scanner. More on that in a moment.